Ladies and gentlemen, what I have a dream, not just a fleeting thought, not a wish, but a burning vision that stirs my soul. A dream so vivid, so powerful, it pulls me forward like a magnet, refusing to let me settle for anything less. This dream isn't just for me, it's for you, for all of us. It's for the person who's felt stuck, the one who's doubted themselves, the one who's looked in the mirror and thought, is this all there is? My dream is a world where every single one of us wakes up each day with purpose, with passion, and with a sense of unstoppable power. A world where we don't just survive, we thrive. A world where fear is no longer the dictator of our decisions, but the fuel for our growth. But here's the truth, dreams without action are just fantasies. And I know you didn't come here today to hear about fantasies. You came here because deep inside you there's a spark, a whisper that says, I'm made for more. So let me tell you something. That dream you have, that burning desire, it's not just an idea, it's a calling. It's life tapping you on the shoulder saying, wake up, I've got something extraordinary for you. A dream is more than just a fleeting thought or an abstract hope. It's a fire that burns deep within, igniting passion and purpose in a way that cannot be ignored. It's the feeling that pulls you forward even when the path ahead seems unclear. It whispers to you in moments of stillness and shouts in the chaos, reminding you that you are destined for something greater. A dream, when nurtured and believed in, becomes a driving force, a call to action that demands your full attention and relentless effort. This dream is not just about personal success or individual achievement. It's about a world where people wake up every day with a sense of clarity and purpose, knowing exactly why they are here and what they are meant to do. Imagine a life where fear no longer dictates decisions, where self-doubt is replaced by unshakable confidence, and where each step you take aligns with a vision so powerful it cannot be ignored. That is the kind of dream that transforms not only individuals but also entire communities. A dream like this doesn't exist in isolation. It's deeply connected to the lives we touch and the people we inspire. It's about creating a ripple effect, where one person's courage to dream big gives others permission to do the same. When you live with a dream this powerful, you elevate not just yourself but everyone around you. You become a beacon of possibility, a reminder that greatness is within reach for anyone willing to believe in it and work for it. But a dream is not without its challenges. It will test you, push you, and demand that you face the deepest parts of yourself. It will require you to confront your fears, to let go of the stories you've told yourself about why you can't, and to embrace the uncertainty that comes with growth. A dream asks you to take risks, to step into the unknown, and to trust that the journey will be worth it, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. To dream is to refuse to settle. It's to look at what exists and say, this isn't enough, I can create something better. It's to push past the boundaries of what's comfortable and familiar, stepping into a space where true transformation happens. A dream is the ultimate declaration of hope, a testament to the belief that tomorrow can be better than today. When you truly commit to your dream, something incredible happens. The world around you begins to shift. Opportunities you never noticed before suddenly become visible. People who share your vision are drawn to you, and resources you thought were out of reach come into your grasp. This is not magic, it's the power of focus and intention. When you align your actions with your deepest desires, the impossible begins to seem possible. Yet, a dream is not just about reaching a destination. It's about who you become along the way. The journey toward your dream will shape you, mold you, and reveal strengths you didn't know you had. It will teach you resilience, patience, and the power of persistence. It will show you the importance of gratitude, not just for the milestones you achieve, but for the lessons learned in moments of struggle. There will be times when the dream feels out of reach, when the obstacles seem too great, and the setbacks too frequent. In those moments, it's crucial to remember why you started. Go back to that spark, that initial vision that stirred your soul. Reconnect with the feeling of possibility and let it reignite your passion. Because the truth is, every great achievement began as a dream that someone refused to give up on. This dream is not just for you. It's for the people you love, the community you're part of, and the world you want to help shape. It's about leaving a legacy, creating something that will outlast you and inspire others for generations to come. When you pursue your dream with everything you have, you give others permission to do the same. You show them what's possible, and in doing so, you become part of a greater movement toward hope, growth, and transformation. So dare to dream big. Let your vision expand beyond the limits of what seems realistic or practical. Give yourself the freedom to imagine a future where you are fully alive, fully engaged, and unapologetically pursuing the life you were meant to live. This is your moment to step up, to embrace the power of your dreams, and to create a reality that reflects the greatness within you. Action is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Without it, even the most powerful dreams remain intangible, suspended in the realm of what could be. Taking action is not just a step, it's a declaration, a commitment to yourself and to the vision you hold. It's a way of saying, I am no longer willing to wait for the perfect moment, because the moment is now yet. So many people get stuck in the space between dreaming and doing. They hesitate, held back by fear, doubt, or the belief that they aren't ready. But readiness is a myth. No one is ever fully prepared for the leap that takes them from the known to the unknown. What sets achievers apart isn't their circumstances or resources, it's their willingness to act despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, and despite the imperfections of the moment. Action doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be deliberate. The key is to start, even if the path isn't clear or the steps seem small. Each action creates momentum, and momentum is powerful. It carries you forward, turning inertia into energy and hesitation into confidence. What begins as a single hesitant step can snowball into a series of bold moves that transform your life. The beauty of action is that it breeds clarity. When you're stuck in your head, thinking about all the possible outcomes, the fear of failure can feel paralyzing. But when you start doing, you gain real-world feedback. You learn what works, what doesn't, and what adjustments you need to make. It's through action that you refine your approach and align yourself more closely with your goals. Sometimes the biggest barrier to action is the stories we tell ourselves. We say things like, I'll start when I have more time, or I need to know more before I take the first step. These stories are comforting because they give us an excuse to stay in our comfort zones. But comfort zones are deceptive. They feel safe, but they also keep us stuck. Growth only happens when you step outside of what's familiar and challenge yourself to move towards something greater. Another common barrier is the fear of failure. No one likes to fail, but failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to come back stronger. Failure is only final if you choose to stop trying. When you see failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock, it loses its power to intimidate you. Taking action also requires you to let go of the need for approval. Too often, people hold back because they're worried about what others might think. But the truth is, your dream is yours, not theirs. The opinions of others are just noise, they don't define your worth or determine your success. The only voice that truly matters is the one inside you that says, I can do this. There's also the misconception that action needs to be grand or dramatic to matter. In reality, it's the small, consistent actions that make the biggest difference over time. It's the daily habits, the incremental progress, and the steady effort that build momentum and lead to lasting change. Big leaps can be exciting, but it's the commitment to show up every day, even when it's hard, that sets you apart. When you take action, you not only move closer to your goals, you change who you are. Each step reinforces your identity as someone who doesn't just dream but does. You become a person of integrity, someone who follows through on their commitments to themselves. And with each success, no matter how small, your confidence grows. You start to see yourself as capable, resilient, and unstoppable. Action also has a ripple effect. When you take bold steps toward your dream, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a source of motivation for those around you. You show them what's possible, and in doing so, you create a culture of empowerment and possibility. But let's be clear, action isn't always easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments when you question whether it's all worth it. In those moments, you have to reconnect with your why, remember why you started, what you're working toward, and what's at stake if you don't follow through. Let that purpose fuel you, pushing you forward even when the road gets tough. Ultimately, the choice to act is yours and yours alone. No one can do it for you. But when you make that choice, when you decide to take responsibility for your future, you tap into a power that's been within you all along. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. And in that realization, you find the strength to keep going, to keep building, and to keep creating a life that aligns with your highest potential. Honesty is the foundation of transformation. It's the mirror we hold up to ourselves, revealing who we are, where we stand, and what's holding us back. Without honesty, progress becomes an illusion, a house built on unstable ground. To grow, to change, to achieve anything meaningful, we must first be willing to face the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Honesty starts with acknowledging where you are right now. It means looking at your life with clear eyes and recognizing what's working and what isn't. It's about assessing your habits, your decisions, and your results without sugarcoating or making excuses. This isn't about self-criticism or blame, it's about clarity. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge, and you can't navigate toward a better future without understanding your present. Being honest with yourself also means admitting when fear or doubt is holding you back. Fear can disguise itself in many ways as procrastination, as perfectionism, or as the endless need for more preparation. But when you strip away the layers, fear is often at the root of inaction. Honesty allows you to name that fear, to confront it directly, and to ask, what am I really afraid of more often than not? The fear loses its power once it's named. Doubt, too, thrives in the absence of honesty. It whispers lies like, you're not good enough, or you're not ready. These doubts can be paralyzing, but honesty demands that you question them. Are they based on fact, or are they just stories you've told yourself? Honesty shines a light on these limiting beliefs, revealing them for what they are: obstacles that you have the power to overcome. Another aspect of honesty is recognizing the stories you've been living by. We all create narratives about who we are, what we're capable of, and what our lives are supposed to look like. Some of these stories serve us, others hold us back. Honesty asks you to examine these stories and ask, are they true? Are they helping me, or are they keeping me stuck? This kind of self-reflection can be challenging, but it's also liberating. When you let go of the stories that no longer serve you, you create space for new possibilities. Honesty isn't just about identifying the negative, it's also about recognizing your strengths and potential. Too often, people downplay their abilities, focusing on their weaknesses instead of their gifts. Being honest with yourself means owning your capabilities, celebrating your achievements, and acknowledging the unique value you bring to the table. It's about giving yourself credit for the progress you've made and the resilience you've shown. True honesty also involves taking responsibility. It's easy to blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for the challenges you face. But when you take an honest look at your life, you often find that you have more control than you realize. Responsibility isn't about assigning fault, it's about reclaiming your power. It's about saying, this is my life, and I have the ability to shape it. That mindset shift is transformative because it puts the focus back on what you can do, rather than what's been done to you. Honesty requires courage because it means facing truths you might rather avoid. It's easier to stay in denial, to ignore the areas of your life that need attention, or to pretend that everything is fine when it isn't. But denial doesn't make problems go away, it just delays their resolution. Honesty, on the other hand, is an act of bravery. It's a way of saying, I'm willing to face whatever I need to face to grow. When you embrace honesty, you open the door to self-awareness. You start to see patterns in your behavior, understand the root causes of your struggles, and identify the changes you need to make. This awareness is a powerful tool because it gives you a roadmap for growth. It shows you where to focus your energy and what steps to take next. Honesty also strengthens your relationships, both with yourself and with others. When you're honest about your needs, your boundaries, and your intentions, you build trust and authenticity. People respect honesty even when it's difficult to hear, because it shows integrity and self-respect. In turn, being honest with others encourages them to be honest with you, creating deeper and more meaningful connections. It's important to remember that honesty is a practice, not a destination. It's not something you achieve once and then forget about. It's a daily commitment to truth. Some days it will come easily, other days it will feel like a struggle. But each time you choose honesty, you strengthen your relationship with yourself and move closer to the life you want to create. Ultimately, honesty is an act of self-love. It's a way of honoring who you are while acknowledging who you can become. It's about valuing yourself enough to tell the truth, even when it's hard, and believing in yourself enough to use that truth as a foundation for growth. Through honesty, you gain the clarity, courage, and confidence to step into your potential and create a life that truly reflects your dreams and values. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions we experience, and it has an undeniable influence on our decisions, actions, and the paths we choose in life. At its core, fear is designed to protect us, a primal response to danger that keeps us safe from harm. But in the modern world, fear often goes beyond physical threats and manifests in ways that hold us back from reaching our true potential. It's no longer the fear of survival in the wilderness, it's the fear of failure, rejection, judgment, or the unknown. What makes fear so challenging is that it feels incredibly real. It grips your mind and body, convincing you that stepping outside your comfort zone is a risk too great to take. It whispers thoughts like, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What will people think of me? These thoughts are persuasive because they prey on our deepest insecurities. But here's the truth, most of the fears we face are illusions, creations of our mind that exaggerate the consequences and diminish our ability to handle them. Fear thrives in the shadows of uncertainty. When we don't know what lies ahead, our minds fill in the blanks with worst-case scenarios. It's a survival mechanism, but it's also a barrier to growth. The truth is, the unknown isn't something to be feared, it's an opportunity. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, and every moment of transformation begins in the space of the unknown. It's where creativity, innovation, and resilience are born. To grow, you have to learn to embrace the uncertainty and see it not as a threat, but as an invitation to explore new possibilities. One of the biggest lies fear tells us is that we need to wait until it goes away before we take action. But fear doesn't disappear on its own, it diminishes only when we face it. The key is to move forward despite the fear, to act in the face of it, rather than waiting for courage to magically appear. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward even when you're scared. It's understanding that fear is a natural part of the process and choosing to act anyway. When you start to see fear for what it really is, a signal, not a stop sign, it loses its grip on you. Fear often arises when you're about to do something meaningful, something that has the potential to change your life. It's a sign that you're stepping into uncharted territory, pushing the boundaries of what you thought was possible. Instead of seeing fear as a warning to retreat, start viewing it as a sign that you're on the right path. The truth about fear is that it's a teacher. Every fear holds a lesson, a message about where you need to grow. If you're afraid of failure, it's an opportunity to build resilience and redefine what success means to you. If you're afraid of rejection, it's a chance to strengthen your sense of self-worth and learn to find validation within. Fear points to the areas of your life where you need to focus, not to shrink, but to expand. Overcoming fear doesn't mean you'll never feel it again. It means you learn to navigate it. You develop tools and strategies to manage the anxiety it brings and to move forward regardless. One of the most effective ways to do this is to reframe your perspective. Instead of asking, what if I fail, ask, what if I succeed? Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, shift your attention to what could go right. Fear often makes us hyper-aware of potential losses, but it's just as important to consider the potential gains. Another way to disarm fear is to take small, manageable steps. Big leaps can feel overwhelming and feed the fear, but small actions build confidence. Each step you take, no matter how small, reinforces your ability to act in the face of fear. Over time, these small victories accumulate, and the fears that once seemed insurmountable begin to shrink. Fear also loses its power when you bring it into the light. Talk about it. Write it down. Share it with someone you trust. Fear grows in isolation, but when you confront it openly, it often becomes less intimidating. Sometimes simply naming your fear is enough to start dismantling it. Lastly, remember that fear is universal. Everyone, no matter how successful or confident they appear, has faced fear at some point. The difference lies in how they respond to it. They don't let fear dictate their choices, they use it as fuel to push forward. Knowing this can be empowering because it reminds you that fear doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. At its core, fear is just energy. You can let it paralyze you, or you can channel it into something productive. When you choose the latter, fear transforms from an obstacle into a catalyst for growth. It becomes a reminder that you're alive, that you're striving for something meaningful, and that you have the strength to rise above it. A shift in perspective has the power to transform your life in ways that are profound and lasting. It's not about changing your circumstances, but about changing the way you see them. Our perspectives shape our thoughts, our emotions, and ultimately our actions. The way we interpret the events around us dictates whether we feel empowered or defeated, hopeful or hopeless, inspired or indifferent. By shifting your perspective, you open the door to new possibilities and opportunities that may have been invisible before. At its core, a shift in perspective starts with awareness. It requires stepping back and examining the lens through which you view the world. So often we operate on autopilot, reacting to situations based on deeply ingrained beliefs and assumptions. These mental patterns are like filters that color our experiences, sometimes distorting them and limiting our ability to see clearly. A shift in perspective involves questioning these filters. Are they serving you? Are they helping you grow, or are they keeping you stuck? One of the most powerful realizations you can have is that you control your perspective. While you may not be able to change external circumstances, you can always choose how you respond to them. For example, failure can be seen as a sign to give up or as a stepping stone to success. A difficult relationship can be viewed as a source of frustration or as an opportunity to develop patience and understanding. The situation itself doesn't change. What changes is the meaning you assign to it. Shifting your perspective is not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is fine. It's about finding a way to approach those challenges with a mindset that empowers you rather than defeats you. It's about recognizing that even in the darkest moments, there is an opportunity to learn, grow, or strengthen your resolve. This doesn't mean the struggle is any less real. It means you choose to rise above it instead of being consumed by it. One way to cultivate a shift in perspective is through gratitude. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, your entire outlook begins to change. Gratitude shifts your attention from scarcity to abundance, from problems to possibilities. It reminds you of the good in your life, even when things are tough. Practicing gratitude doesn't erase challenges, but it gives you the strength and resilience to face them with a more balanced mindset. Another way to shift your perspective is to challenge your assumptions. We all have beliefs about ourselves, other people, and the world that we take for granted. These beliefs shape how we interpret everything around us, but they are not always accurate or helpful. By questioning your assumptions, you create space for new ways of thinking. For instance, if you believe you're not capable of achieving a goal, ask yourself, is that belief based on fact or fear? What evidence do you have to support it? More often than not, you'll find that your limiting beliefs are just stories you've been telling yourself, and stories can be rewritten. Empathy is another powerful tool for shifting perspective. When you take the time to see a situation from someone else's point of view, you often gain insights that were previously hidden. Empathy allows you to step outside your own experience and consider a broader context. It helps you understand that other people's actions are often driven by their own fears, insecurities, or circumstances. This understanding can lead to greater compassion, better communication, and more harmonious relationships. A shift in perspective can also be inspired by changing your environment or exposing yourself to new ideas. Sometimes, we get so caught up in our routines and surroundings that our thinking becomes stagnant. Traveling to a new place, meeting people with different backgrounds, or simply reading a book that challenges your worldview can spark a fresh way of looking at things. These experiences remind you that there are countless ways to interpret the world and that your current perspective is just one of many. It's important to remember that shifting your perspective is a practice, not a one-time event. It requires ongoing effort and intentionality. There will be moments when it's easy to fall back into old ways of thinking, especially when you're faced with stress or adversity. But each time you consciously choose to see things differently, you strengthen your ability to maintain a positive and empowering perspective. Ultimately, a shift in perspective is about reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that while you may not be able to control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you interpret and respond to it. This shift doesn't just change the way you experience life, it changes who you are. It makes you more resilient, more adaptable, and more open to the endless possibilities that surround you. With a shift in perspective, you can turn challenges into opportunities, setbacks into comebacks, and dreams into realities. Being a doer is a mindset, a way of living that sets you apart from those who simply talk about their dreams and aspirations. A doer takes action, steps into the unknown, and makes things happen. It's easy to fall into the trap of overthinking, planning endlessly, or waiting for the perfect moment. But the truth is, the perfect moment rarely comes. Success is not built in the comfort of contemplation, it is forged in the fire of action. A doer doesn't wait for things to happen, they create them. The first step to becoming a doer is recognizing that action is the key to progress. Ideas, no matter how brilliant, remain stagnant without implementation. Inspiration is powerful, but it's the execution of those ideas that leads to real results. The difference between a dreamer and a doer is not talent or resources, it's the willingness to take the first step, even when the path ahead is unclear. A doer doesn't wait for everything to be perfect, they understand that imperfection is part of the process. In fact, it's often the messy, imperfect attempts that teach the most valuable lessons. To be a doer, you must develop the habit of taking consistent action. It's not about making one big leap and hoping it works out, it's about taking small, deliberate steps toward your goal every single day. Each action you take, no matter how minor it may seem, compounds over time. It's the cumulative effect of these actions that eventually leads to significant progress. Doing something every day, even when it feels insignificant, keeps you moving forward. And when you keep moving, you eventually build momentum. A doer doesn't wait for motivation to strike, they create it. Motivation is fleeting and unreliable, often coming in waves. But when you commit to taking action regardless of how you feel, you start to build the habit of doing. Over time, this habitual action becomes its own source of motivation. As you begin to see progress, even in small forms, it fuels your drive to keep going. The key is to start, even when you don't feel ready. The act of doing builds confidence, and confidence drives more action. Another trait of a doer is resilience. Challenges, setbacks, and failures are an inevitable part of the journey. But while many people are discouraged by obstacles, doers view them as learning opportunities. They understand that failure is not the end, it's simply a step on the path to success. A doer doesn't shy away from difficult situations, they face them head-on and adapt. They have the mindset that no setback is permanent, and every challenge has something valuable to teach. Being a doer also means being solution-oriented. It's easy to get bogged down by problems or to focus on what's not working. But a doer chooses to focus on solutions. Instead of dwelling on obstacles, they ask, what can I do about this? And take the necessary steps to overcome the challenges. This shift in focus is powerful because it shifts your energy from frustration to productivity. Rather than letting problems paralyze you, you use them as stepping stones to greater achievement. A doer also takes responsibility for their actions. It's easy to blame external factors for lack of progress, whether it's other people, circumstances, or bad luck. But a doer understands that their results are ultimately a reflection of their own choices. They take full ownership of their actions, recognizing that the power to change lies within them. Instead of pointing fingers, they look inward, evaluate their actions, and find ways to improve. This sense of responsibility empowers them to take control of their lives and their future. Being a doer also involves embracing discomfort. Growth doesn't happen when you stay within your comfort zone. It happens when you stretch yourself, when you take risks, and when you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. A doer doesn't avoid discomfort, they lean into it, understanding that it's a sign that they are stepping into new territory. Every time you face discomfort and move forward anyway, you build strength and resilience. This is how a doer grows, by consistently stepping into the unknown, embracing uncertainty, and taking action despite fear. One of the greatest qualities of a doer is their ability to prioritize. They know that time is precious and that every action they take should align with their goals. They don't get sidetracked by distractions or busy work. Instead, they focus on the tasks that will bring them closer to their desired outcome. A doer is laser-focused, understanding that not all tasks are created equal. They ask themselves, will this move me closer to my goal? And if the answer is no, they move on to what matters most. The most important aspect of being a doer is consistency. It's easy to start something and feel excited for a while, but without consistency, progress slows and the dream becomes a distant hope rather than a reality. A doer doesn't give up after the initial excitement fades. They continue showing up day in and day out, working toward their goal. Success is often the result of sheer persistence. It's the person who keeps going, even when it gets tough, who ultimately achieves their dreams. To be a doer is to take full ownership of your life. It's to stop waiting for the perfect circumstances, the right opportunities, or the ideal time. It's to take action now, even in the face of uncertainty or fear. A doer understands that progress isn't made by wishing, hoping, or waiting. It's made by doing. By taking consistent, purposeful action toward your dreams, you create the life you want to live. Empowerment is the process of taking control of your own life, of understanding your strengths and capabilities, and using them to shape your future. It is the recognition that you hold the power to change your circumstances, to make choices that align with your values, and to create the life you desire. Empowerment is not a single event or moment. It is an ongoing journey of self-discovery, growth, and action. It's about cultivating the belief that you are the master of your destiny and that you have the tools, resources, and resilience to achieve your goals. The foundation of empowerment lies in self-awareness. Before you can begin to take control of your life, you must first understand who you are. This means recognizing your strengths and weaknesses, understanding your passions, and becoming aware of the internal and external factors that influence your decisions. Self-awareness allows you to make choices that are in alignment with your true self, rather than being swayed by the opinions or expectations of others. It gives you clarity about what you want and why you want it, helping you set meaningful and authentic goals. Once you have self-awareness, the next step in empowerment is self-belief. This is often the most challenging aspect, as many people struggle with feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt. But empowerment cannot thrive without belief in yourself. When you believe in your ability to succeed, you unlock the motivation and drive needed to overcome obstacles. Self-belief is not about being arrogant or thinking you're perfect. It's about recognizing that you are capable, resourceful, and resilient. You have the power to learn, adapt, and grow, no matter what challenges come your way. This belief in yourself fuels your determination and drives you to take bold, confident action. Empowerment is also about taking responsibility for your life. Too often, people fall into the trap of blaming external circumstances for their lack of progress. They blame their upbringing, their environment, their circumstances, or the people around them for the situation they're in. While these factors can influence our lives, they do not define us. Empowerment requires you to take responsibility for your actions, your choices, and your outcomes. It's about realizing that you have the ability to change your life by making different choices, even if those choices are difficult. By taking responsibility, you reclaim your power and shift from a mindset of helplessness to one of action and control. Another key component of empowerment is the ability to set clear, actionable goals. Empowerment doesn't just come from wishful thinking, it comes from taking purposeful steps toward what you want to achieve. Setting goals gives you direction and focus. It provides a roadmap for where you want to go and the steps you need to take to get there. When you set specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals, you create a sense of purpose and momentum. Goals are not just about the destination, they are about the growth and learning you experience along the way. Equally important to empowerment is the development of resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way, and there will be times when things don't go according to plan. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to maintain a positive attitude in the face of adversity, and to keep moving forward despite obstacles. Empowerment does not mean avoiding difficulties, it means learning to navigate them with strength and grace. It's about developing a mindset that sees failure as a learning opportunity rather than a permanent defeat. With resilience, you become more adaptable, more resourceful, and more capable of handling whatever comes your way. Empowerment is also about setting boundaries and protecting your energy. It's easy to get caught up in the demands of others, to say yes to things out of obligation, or to allow negative influences to drain your energy. But true empowerment comes from recognizing your worth and prioritizing your well-being. Setting boundaries means learning to say no when something doesn't align with your values or goals. It means protecting your time, your mental health, and your emotional energy. By setting boundaries, you create space for the things that truly matter and allow yourself to thrive. A critical aspect of empowerment is also the ability to embrace change. Growth requires stepping outside your comfort zone, trying new things, and being open to new ideas and experiences. Empowerment involves understanding that change is a natural part of life, and it's often through change that we experience our greatest growth. Rather than fearing change, an empowered individual seeks it out. They understand that change brings new opportunities, new perspectives, and new ways of achieving their goals. Embracing change means being flexible, adaptable, and willing to let go of the old to make way for the new. In addition to these personal aspects, empowerment also has a social component. It's about lifting others up, sharing your knowledge, and creating a sense of community. Empowerment is not a solitary pursuit. It thrives in an environment where people support and encourage one another. When you empower others, you strengthen yourself. This sense of shared empowerment creates a ripple effect, where the success and growth of one individual contribute to the success and growth of others. By empowering others, you build a network of support and create a culture of positivity and collaboration. Ultimately, empowerment is the key to living a fulfilled and purposeful life. It is the realization that you have the ability to shape your own future, to create the life you want, and to overcome any challenge that comes your way. Empowerment is not about having control over everything, it's about having control over how you respond to life's circumstances. It's about recognizing your inner strength, believing in your potential, and taking consistent action toward your goals. When you embrace empowerment, you unlock your full potential and live a life of purpose, passion, and possibility. As we reach the end of this journey, it's important to take a moment to reflect on the path we've traveled and the lessons we've learned. Life is a constant flow of challenges, growth, and change, and while the destination may sometimes seem far off, it's the journey itself that shapes who we are. Every step we take, every decision we make contributes to the person we are becoming. And even though we may face obstacles along the way, these are the very experiences that refine us, build our resilience, and push us toward greatness. The truth is, there is no perfect moment to start, no magical time when everything aligns perfectly. The key to success, happiness, and fulfillment is not waiting for the perfect conditions, but rather taking action despite the uncertainty. Life doesn't wait for us to be ready, it moves forward with or without us. And it is in our willingness to step into the unknown, to embrace discomfort, and to take action that we find our true power. We must remember that every day is a new opportunity. Each day holds the potential for growth, for change, and for creating something meaningful. The choices we make today shape the reality we live in tomorrow. Whether those choices are small or large, they carry weight and they have the power to move us closer to our dreams. It's easy to get caught up in the distractions of everyday life, to focus on things that seem urgent but aren't truly important. But when we stay focused on our goals, when we align our actions with our values, we begin to move forward with purpose. There will be times when the road seems long and the obstacles feel insurmountable. But it's important to remember that setbacks are a natural part of life's journey. They're not signs of failure, but rather opportunities for growth. Every challenge is an invitation to learn, to improve, and to become stronger. When we face adversity with courage and resilience, we not only overcome it but emerge better equipped for the future. It's the strength we develop in these moments that becomes the foundation for our success. In moments of doubt, it's crucial to remember your why. Why do you do what you do? What is your purpose? Your purpose is the compass that guides you through life's challenges and distractions. It keeps you grounded, reminding you that no matter how difficult the journey may be, your vision is worth fighting for. When you have clarity about your purpose, it becomes easier to stay committed to your goals, even when the road is tough. That equally important is the need for self-compassion. We are often our harshest critics, placing unrealistic expectations on ourselves and expecting perfection. But perfection is not the goal. Growth is. And growth requires patience, understanding, and forgiveness, especially from ourselves. Be kind to yourself on this journey, celebrate your progress no matter how small, and give yourself credit for the effort you put in every day. It's easy to focus on what you haven't done yet, but remember to acknowledge how far you've come. Self-compassion allows you to build the resilience needed to keep moving forward, even when things don't go as planned. As you move forward, remember that you don't have to do it all alone. The support of others is invaluable in this journey. Seek out those who encourage, inspire, and challenge you. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who help you see your potential even when you can't see it yourself. But also be willing to lift others up as you rise. Empowering those around you creates a positive ripple effect that strengthens the collective energy, creating an environment of growth and support for everyone involved. We all have something to offer, and when we work together, we elevate not just ourselves but each other. It's also important to embrace change. Change is inevitable, and while it can be uncomfortable, it is also a catalyst for growth. The world around us is constantly shifting, and so are we. We must be adaptable, willing to let go of old ways of thinking or doing things that no longer serve us. When we resist change, we limit our potential, but when we embrace it, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and experiences that we never thought possible. As you continue on your path, always remember that you have the power to create the life you want. The future is not something that happens to you, it is something you create with every thought, every action, every choice you make. Don't wait for life to give you permission to pursue your dreams, take the reins and make it happen. The only limit to what you can achieve is the limit you place on yourself. In closing, know that you are capable of achieving incredible things. The road ahead may not always be easy, but with determination, resilience, and a willingness to keep going, there is no goal too big, no dream too far out of reach. Keep moving forward, stay true to yourself, and trust that every step you take brings you closer to the life you are meant to live. You have everything within you to succeed, and the best is yet to come. Keep going and never stop believing in yourself.